towed him right out the other side.
It's been 10 years since the FLW Tour last visited Lake Travis.
Wow! A 5-bass limit!
But these anglers are quick to reconnect with some big bass.
Look at that. That's just awesome. That's what they're supposed to look like.
It's the second stop of the 2017 FLW Tour.
Welcome everyone, Travis Moran here along with Byron Velvick, bringing you the action from the third day of our second stop in our 7-tour season for the 2017 FLW Tour at Lake Travis in Jonestown, Texas.
Oh, it's been an amazing one too. I mean, this is shaping up to be a great day because these guys have fished 2 days now, and the weather could be better. It blew yesterday. I mean, it was blowing, it was tough. The limits went down quite a bit. I mean, half the field had limits the first day, not even half the field had limits the second day. Now we're going to day 3, and the weather is awesome. It's beautiful. The guys are seeing clear skies. They're seeing very little wind, and the guys are thinking, man, this is going to be the day to capitalize on the bite and get the bigger bite and move in to the hunt for that final day of competition.
Absolutely. And looking at our anglers, Bryan Thrift really riding on that nearly 25-pound limit on day 1 and staggered a little bit day 2 with that 9-pound limit, but he's still in this hunt for a chance at that title. Then we've got Patek. Patek keeping consistency. That's really the key to make him the day 3 leader going into this thing. And we're going to see what we get out of him.
Yeah, you know, he had 20 pounds, 5 ounces the first day, and then he comes back and catches 14-1 the second day. And this guy has just figured out something. He's fishing migrating fish. He says, man, it's pre-spawn. These fish are staging in these areas, and these areas are just replenishing. In his opinion, he goes, there's no telling what I can get off of these spots because they just keep coming. They want to spawn. I know where they're going. They're coming to me, and after they go through me, then they're going to the spawning flats. That's exciting stuff.
One guy that's on the bubble is Mark Rose. He actually started day 1 with a smaller limit, but then backed it up day 2, improved that limit, had a nice little bag. But now day 3, that's going to be where we see if Mark Rose really can figure out these fish and if he's going to move on to that final day.
I did not think that these fish would be this deep. And the thing about it is the deep ones I'm catching are pre-spawn fish. And then I've caught some up shallow that are long and skinny. So you just have to fish, do a little bit of everything. There's some fish in all phases.
And you know, it's crazy. We're seeing that dance between Mark Rose and Bryan Thrift too. I mean, they're both in the hunt now, top 20 guys.
Yesterday was a struggle for me, so I've definitely got to find some new stuff and try to get a couple of big bites. I mean, I don't really know how I'm going to approach it yet. I'm going to just kind of see what the day gives us and just kind of fly by the seat of my pants and see what happens, you know.
This is exciting. We got 2 guys that just crushed them at Guntersville, went first and second, and then some guys that really didn't have a good Guntersville event. Now they're on stop 2 of this tour, and they're wondering, hey, is this my chance to get those Thrifts and those Mark Roses out of the way? Let me hold the trophy. Let me win $125,000.
So talking about Travis, we haven't been back here. We haven't had a tour event on this lake since 2007, almost a decade ago. So we've had a lot change. We've had droughts, we've had growth. What do you think the key factors are going to be on that?
Exactly right, man. The water has dropped 60 feet, 50, 60 feet. The whole area has just grown up. There's a lot of trees out there now, a lot of foliage. I mean, guys are talking now, it's like a needle in a haystack. They're out looking for fish in trees that are 12, 15, 18 feet from the surface down to the bottom, and they said that everything's flooded. These fish could be anywhere, and they're everywhere. And there's a ton of fish in the lake. I mean, the lake is full of fish. Guys are saying, I'm catching 30, 40 fish a day, having to catch that 14-inch size limit on largemouth or 12 inches on a Guadalupe bass, and at the same time, the almighty kicker. Is there a kicker to be had? Will I be the lucky guy? Will lightning strike? Will I catch a 5, 6, 7, 8-pound bass? That's the exciting part.
100%. The key to this event really does seem to be that one big fish. You've got to have a limit, but to really be a key player in this tournament, you've got to catch that one kicker.
We saw that yesterday with Clark Winlet catching an 8-6. I mean, that vaulted him up. I mean, that changes. You go from an 8-pound bag all the way up to a 17-pound bag because you're catching a fish that is most of the other guys' limits. If you have an average day, you catch 7, 8, 9 pounds. You caught one fish that made that.
I need another big bite today. It can happen anytime here. That's the thing. You can't figure out, hey, well, I'm going to go fish for big ones here, and then I'll try to catch a limit. You just got to fish. And when you're just fishing, hopefully you can stumble across one of those big ones.
This is different than Guntersville. There's not a ton of 5 and 6 pounders where you're gonna see 30-pound bags. A couple kickers and you're golden. I mean, a couple kickers and you're like, I'm there. I might as well go pre-fishing, because if I got 14, 15, 17 pounds in the well, I'm gonna start managing my fish and I'm gonna go looking for other fish somewhere else and save fish for day 4.
We're gonna see how they do today.
Well, what we're doing is actually fishing a big flat. It's nothing that really drew me, but the fish, you know, they like big flats. They want some deep water near it or whatever, but they like big flats. And actually this place right here, I caught some fish on this place about a year ago and just put a waypoint here. Never practiced it or anything. I stopped here the first day of the tournament, 10 minutes to go, and I caught a 3-pounder. So that just kind of led me to the spot. What's happened is the fishery is just booming right now. For about 2 years, there's been flooded stuff. Bass need cover to spawn, so they're spawning really well. All the bait is just flourishing too. There's tons of bluegill here now. That's one thing I've noticed. Bluegill everywhere, and then the shad population's pretty good too, and I actually think the crawfish population's good. So everything's kind of flourishing because of the drought.
You know, this is a good way to start the lake, and he's doing something different now. He's fishing offshore. He said the first day he committed to shallow, but here he is hooked up. Oh man, right off the bat.
Yep, another early morning fish here.
Coming off of an 8-pound, 6-ounce bass yesterday. I mean, the biggest fish of the day, and what a kicker yesterday, giving Clark a 17-pound bag with that 8.6. And he's the local boy. He lives in College Station, not far away. This is really the home field advantage for him. He's fished this lake multiple times.
Gosh, I made a change. I was throwing a jig and made a change through Carolina rig. Good 3.5-pounder, I'll take that. Good gracious.
Let's talk about strategy here. We're gonna go to General Tire, Byron's roadmap to victory.
Right now, the pattern that we've seen so far is the offshore, the deep bite. The guys, surprisingly, have not been fishing the way most guys expected Lake Travis to set up. Early on, they were saying it was a mild winter. Warm weather was forecasted, and it is forecasted. It's gonna be 80 degrees today. And yet, the guys are fishing offshore, which is really a surprise to even the anglers that are in the top 20. Like I say, I'm really surprised those fish are still out here. Fishing slow. Everybody's fishing slow. The bites are light, the bites are subtle. It's typical of these high pressure lakes. And then that kicker, the all important kicker. It's like lightning striking. You gotta get the kicker, and can you get more than one? Can you manage to get a couple big bites in a day? In a lake like this, where everybody's catching 14, 15-inch fish, a kicker is literally a half to 3/4 the weight, maybe a full weight, if you caught an 8-pounder, of some guys' limits. So the kicker is key. And that leads you into the next thing, which is fish management. So now you got a couple kickers. Now you're able to catch a 3, a 4, maybe a couple of them, maybe a 6 or 7. Do you move on? At that point you say, I'm putting it all down. Fish management is my key. I gotta make it to day 4. I need to go pre-fishing. You start driving around the lake now, it's calm as can be. It's clear, it's flat, it's sunny. You can actually find a big bedfish late in the day today and say, there's my starting fish for tomorrow. I got all kinds of offshore stuff to fish. I got deep fish, I got everything else, but now I found an early spawn fish because the weather today is gonna allow you to have that opportunity.
They're so deep that it's just, you know, on certain little hard spots down there, bigger rock, you kind of just have to drift across it. I tried casting to them and I couldn't. They didn't want it near as much as they did just drifting across. When I got here, I thought the fish would be full blown in spawn. And I'm still kind of not understanding the spawn right now. I see lots of empty beds out there. I really think they had a big spawn, you know, before we got here. Probably even, you know, they hadn't had much of a winter here, so they could have spawned December, January, so.
He's fishing that area. He's kind of making the same cast over and over and over again, Travis. It's as if he knows those fish are just going to come through there or be in that area, and he's looking to create some of those bites. And what a start to day 3 right here.
Talk about those golden nuggets.
Yeah, dude. These are the bars of gold on Travis.
That was about as sloppy a job as you can do.
Interesting technique there with a floating net underneath it. Love that. Get the bass and the net.
Nice.
That's a double whammy there. Float the net, catch the bass. Look at that. What a beautiful fish to start off the day.
The FLW Tour is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. BRP Evinrude. Learn more at evinrude.com. You can get more from your oil with Quaker State. Costa Del Mar. See what's out there. Ranger Boats. Still building legends, one at a time. And by Power Pole. Swift, silent, secure.
Woo! Oh, stay on there. Giant. I hope I catch one that eats this. A little bigger than that. Woo! 13 and a half.
Here we are back with more action from Lake Travis on the second stop of the FLW Tour. It's a fun morning. It's been
an interesting morning. There have been some key fish caught early, and these guys talked about it yesterday, man. It's such a hard situation just to get one or two big bites, and some of those guys had that immediate sigh of relief by catching a good fish right off the bat.
And so we've got some movement on the leaderboard today.
Mark Rose, here he is. He had a great tournament up to this point, catching 17 pounds yesterday, 11 pounds the day before.
Is actually leading the tournament right now unofficially.
Well, I actually got on this pattern the last time we were here, and I caught some fish in this exact spot. The big rocks that are on the sides of these roads, and that's what I was keying on before, and I just tried it here. It's working down here too. Uh-oh. It's a little one. Might keep though.
That is one focused Mark Rose. That's textbook deep fishing, just dragging that jig. Like you said, Travis, counting rocks.
One of the guys to note is Dylan Hayes. He is a rookie on tour and actually finished 37th on Guntersville. So you're a rookie, you come out, you're ready to set the world on fire. Guntersville, you have a poor finish. You know, it's tough. He's got to be feeling fantastic that he reset.
One of those guys that was real happy there's 7 events this year.
Yes.
Take Guntersville and throw that out the window and say, I'm back.
Yes, yes.
That's a big way to start off the day on Travis when kickers are so premier. Just a premier deal to get anything over 3 pounds. We hear Clark Wendlandt talking about it, catching an 8.6 yesterday and a 3-pounder this morning.
This lake can be overwhelming for any angler. When these pros get here even, it's kind of mind-blowing. It's a big lake anyway. There's cover everywhere. The fish are literally from 0 to 40 feet, so you got all these options. The only way to find fish in that situation, and the guys that have done well is they just go fishing. They probably fish their strengths. And, you know, speaking of strengths, I'm really not fishing my strengths. I'm out dragging a Carolina rig. I'd rather be covering water. But it's just where the bigger bites are. So when you get a bigger bite in practice, I mean, you just kind of put that in the computer and say, you know, I've got to spend time doing that. And then as practice goes on, you know, you're not trying to catch a bunch of fish. You're just trying to figure out where some areas are you can get some bites. That's a fatty. God, look at that. That's just awesome. Oh my gosh. That's about 4 pounds probably. That's what they're supposed to look like. Look how fat he is.
Clark's catching the right fish. A couple more fish, and he probably will talk about what he talked about yesterday was fish management.
Obviously a local angler, so he's got a lot of options. So if he figures out what these fish are doing, patterns them, he's a guy that can really exploit that and just run away with a huge bag.
And there's the day 2 leader right here.
There's Patek, yeah.
Interesting story with this guy. He has a spot, a bare spot with brush around it. It's a migratory point. He has a migratory point. That's so key pre-spawn.
It's a flat that comes out into a point. There's a bunch of trees surrounding the edge. I'm actually casting out past the trees and bringing it up into the trees, and they're eating it right before I get into the trees. I'm just working it as slow as possible because sometimes when you bring it over, well, the water is 60 degrees, and you would think there would be a lot of fish up shallow spawning and doing all that, but a lot of the better fish are still deep. I just couldn't catch any quality bites up shallow. So the last day of practice, I just started graphing out deep, and I found a couple spots that one of them actually had a pretty big school of fish on it, and that's where I've been getting the majority of my weight. So there you go. Get some more of those.
I don't think the fish are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. I think the weather's got everybody's head screwed up, because theoretically these fish shouldn't spawn for another 3 or 4 weeks, but the weather's so hot everybody thinks, oh, they're going to come up. But I don't think the days are long enough. These fish know, there's still a chance we could have a cold front, and they're not going to get up there and do their thing and then risk a big cold front coming through and killing all their eggs. So I think we're right on schedule, just everybody's trying to make the fish be where they don't want to be. This might be a keeper here. It'd be close. I think he's 14 inches. Oh yeah, we got a 4.
The ounces are so key. The 14-inch bass are key right now. Get that limit. The bites are starting to happen right now. It could be a fantastic afternoon on Lake Travis.
Absolutely.
That was a big one. That was the bite I've been looking for today.
God dang.
Well,
It's 4.
Welcome back, everyone, on Lake Travis for the second stop, the 2017 FLW Tour, presented by Quaker State. Thrift, he got his 5th, and now he's our current leader. But Podtek's actually tied with him unofficially with only 4 fish. That 5th fish is really gonna help him out, man. He just needs to catch that, and he's gonna bump way up.
And this is the time that those big fish start to go. I'm not gonna be surprised at all when we see a big bite come. I suspect everything we've talked about and everything we've seen is gonna be completely inverted, and it's gonna be a shakeup of that leaderboard coming.
One of these guys is gonna connect and bring in some huge fish.
You just have to really go out there, keep an open mind, and just go fishing. Because I did not think that these fish would be this deep. And the thing about it is the deep ones I'm catching are pre-spawn fish, or they're just so fat and on shad or whatever. But I really don't think so. I think they're big old staging fish that haven't thought about spawning yet. And then I've caught some up shallow that are long and skinny. So you just have to fish, do a little bit of everything. There's some fish in all phases.
I have to think that has a lot to do with what Greg Bohannon, his roommate, told him.
I like it.
He said, Mark, dude, I went shallow and it was windy, and I caught him.
Now, Thrift, he said, I think I'm done with the deep bite for the day. So he's gonna go shallow, and he's got the confidence that those fish are eventually gonna be up there, and he's gonna get them.
Probably caught 25 or 30 out deep, just a lot of little bitty guys. I mean, 10 to 12 inchers, but I did manage to scrape up 4 keepers doing that, and then around 12 o'clock when the sun got up and it got nice and hot, I started fishing docks and flipping trees and caught a couple keepers. It's a fair day today. I mean, I feel like I give myself the best opportunity I could to catch a big bag of fish, I feel like. There we go. There we go. That'll help a little bit. We gotta find a couple more docks like this. That's 3 big bites on this one dock. That will help.
The thing about it is, for me, I'm gonna have to change tomorrow. I'd probably start on this spot because I've caught like 4 big ones on it, and big ones are such a key. But It just doesn't have enough fish on it. And I'm not even sure I can even get another bite here. So I have not caught any good fish shallow. I've had some keeper bites. I lost a 3-pounder yesterday shallow, but for the most part, I can't get a good one shallow. So, but I know they're gonna come shallow. So I keep thinking to myself, it's gonna change in the tournament. I know it's gonna change during the tournament, and if it's gonna change, tomorrow's gonna be the day. I just know it could happen. We gotta go.
All right, what's up, Austin, Texas? This is day 3. We're down to the top 20 pros, and here we go. A Lake Travis monster Clayton bass, 12 pounds and 15 ounces. A 5-bass limit for Troy Morrow, 10 pounds and 14 ounces. Dylan Hayes, new leader, 12 pounds and 10 ounces.
They say in Texas everything's big, so I figured I'd just go ahead and try to get me one of them.
Wow! Mark Rose, 15 pounds, 13 ounces.
To be here in contention and have a shot at tomorrow is all you can ask for as a competitor.
Clark Windler, 12 pounds, 2 ounces. You'll fish another day.
I'm not catching that many fish. I can catch a couple good ones. I hope that happens again tomorrow, and if it does, then I'm just gonna go wing it.
Bryan Thrift, new leader, 11 pounds, 7 ounces.
I've been slowing down a lot here, fishing a few deep places, and they've about all dried up. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow.
Stephen Patek, he's got a 5-bass limit, 4 pounds and 10 ounces. That's good enough to move you up to 5th place with 39 pounds even. So we're gonna talk.
I just made a huge mistake today, and I came in a little late, and I got out in the main lake, and I didn't realize how many boats were gonna be out there, and I'm pretty bummed out. But
a tactical error, and it's a 1-pound penalty for every minute that they're late. So you're 5 minutes late. So some deduction, but you know what? Making lemonade out of the lemons, man. You're in 5th place. It's still in striking distance for the win if you can catch another 20-pound bag.
I just can't wait to get back out there and make up for today and try and win this thing.
This time I'm the hunter instead of the hunted. The last time, you know, I had all the pressure on me, but I like having as many pounds as I can get, so I would rather be in his position.
Lake Guntersville, me and Mark finished 1st and 2nd, and we battled it out the last day. I caught a giant bag and almost caught him, came up a little bit short, and here we are again. I'm in 1st, Mark's in 2nd, and it's anybody's ball game. I mean, I'm just as worried about the other 8 guys in the field as I am Mark.
Welcome everybody. We're back at the final and 4th day of the 2017 FLW Tour at Lake Travis, presented by Quaker State. We've got an amazing event that's unfolded in front of us. We've had some flip-flop in the lead, but once again, we've got Thrift and Rose, 1 and 2, starting out day 4.
Dancing again with each other. I mean, this is crazy because once again, here are the guys that just went to Guntersville, kind of went mano-a-mano, head-to-head. Out of 164 anglers, they're back at it again. With Thrift now leading, Mark Rose right behind him, but this is a different day. This is a strange day now because it isn't clear, bluebird, sunny, calm. There's a breeze blowing and a lot of clouds in the air.
One interesting thing to note, Patek, he is starting this day down 5 pounds from what he actually brought to the scales because he was actually given a penalty. He arrived at the weigh-in 5 minutes late. He didn't anticipate that boat traffic. 5 minutes late, 5-pound penalty.
And that's cost him. You know, he said he's making a big run. He's running way, way up the river, fishing the very end of Lake Travis from the launch ramp. And he said, hey, listen, coming down, you don't know that the time's gonna be a little bit different. You think 5 minutes is not gonna really happen in your head. I know this run. I've made it every day, practice during the tournaments, up through Friday. Saturday, different dog, different day, like you said, with all that boat traffic. Now that's cost him 2 places, actually. Instead of being in 3rd, he's now in 5th. And you gotta wonder, if he doesn't win this tournament, he's thinking, I could have won this tournament if only I had made it on time that Saturday. Don't be 5 pounds out when it comes to the end of this event. That's what Patek does not want.
I can't figure this place out, really. I see some scattered on my graph out here floating. There's no doubt the fish to win this tournament, that kind of quality is here. I just don't know if there's, you know, how long you stay, and that's the part I can't get. It's actually a real deep boat ramp that comes way down into the lake, and it's got some single isolated trees that grew out on the end of it. It's a clean spot, but the fish aren't really on the clean spot. They're suspended up over they're just kind of floating up over the trees that are growing right out on the end of it. And they probably go up on it at night and feed on the ramp. So it's just a good staging area for them to just hang around that boat ramp.
Rose is currently in second, but he's fishing for his second tour event win in a row. Never been done before.
This place is a big fish area. Sure, a lot of guys check it. Mark Rose has a lot of confidence in it now, and you just don't know if he's going to spend the day on this spot or if he's going to pull up his trolling motor and kind of move around and do exactly what he did yesterday, which is try to add fish. Now to Bryan Thrift real quick. And Bryan Thrift has been on fire. Not the quality fish you're looking for, but he catches these largemouth and these Guadalupe bass.
Another Guadalupe bass. He's also 12 inches.
Bryan Thrift, of course, starting off the tournament with an incredible 24-pound plus sack the first day. And just when you come in with 24-12, almost 25 pounds on day one on Travis, catching the biggest stringer of the entire tournament.
I think he's a keeper. We got fast.
Thrift starting off with a limit so fast in the day. Got to make him feel comfortable. And that's, if you're the other 9 guys, you don't want Bryan Thrift fishing comfortable for an entire day. Now we got the split screen here. We got rookie Dylan Hayes.
The fish are moving into spawn near a flat. He's got a point out there where they're kind of staging. And it's just a super consistent bite.
My size is a little smaller than yesterday, but there's a lot of guys having a hard time catching 5. 5 will go a long ways a day. Every fish is dollar bills in top 10. This is my rookie season, and I didn't really know what to expect this year. I've fished some big tournaments, but never anything like this. And man, to make my second tournament be my first top 10, it's unbelievable. I mean, some people never make a top 10. And I just want to keep it going and maybe try to win Rookie of the Year, or just catch a bunch of checks and have a good season. But this tournament's been really special to me. I've definitely been really blessed. Need a couple of big ones.
Today, you know, with the adverse weather conditions that we had, I broke from what I had been doing on the first 3 days. We had calm conditions and bright sun first 3 days, and I'd been catching a lot of my fish out deep on drop shot and spot remover. And today, you know, with the cloud cover and the warm night, I just switched it up completely and decided I was going to fish shallow. You know, I was going to target, you know, some bigger fish, try to catch a big bag, and hopefully make a big jump on day 4. And you know, the weather being like it was played a really big decision in me changing up my game plan for day 4.
Take a look at our 10th place angler, Anthony Gagliardi, with a nice fish to start the day right here.
That is the way you want to start. Day number 4, you're in 10th place. You're not measuring that. That's not a Guadalupe bass. That's a flat stud right there, and that'll get you pumped. He's already serving notice that he's here to play.
That's a limit. I will take it.
It'd be the first to go, but that's 5.
Oh yeah, 1.7, 3 ounces.
Surprised I'm not getting even bites from smaller fish.
We are back. Lake Travis, final day, the second stop in the FLW Tour. Our unofficial leader right now, Bryan Thrift.
16 of the last competition days there have been for FLW, Thrift has waited the limit. Before 9 o'clock this morning was culling. He's a machine. You always talk about how dangerous it is to have him in those top 10, no matter where he's at. And look at him, he's the leader right now and fishing a little more relaxed than the rest of the field.
Got clouds and wind and kind of warm and humid, so I tied a buzzbait on this morning just on a whim to see if I could catch one on it. I got to give it a chance because I know if I can get 5 or 6 bites on it, I got a good chance to catch a big one this time of year.
And on a split screen right now, Mark Rose sitting on the spot that has done him so well. It's hard to leave a place where you catch a 6 yesterday, and you know this has been his big fish factory. Gosh, it's got a history of producing big fish. Scott Martin, 2007, biggest fish of the entire FLW season. 812 coming off of a football jig, not far from where Rose is sitting at this very moment.
Big one. Big one.
Mark Rose, if he wins this event, it is going to be the first back-to-back win in FLW history. The first time a guy went to an event, won, came back, and won another one. And for Mark Rose, this will be his first win off the Tennessee River, first win for Mark Rose if he can pull it off today.
I missed a big one right here earlier, I felt like. This next pitch I'm gonna make. They're really everywhere. It's just figuring out the best pattern, whatever's gonna work the best. And so, you know, everything in my mind is telling me those fish are wanting to come shallow. I know there's probably some on beds, and so I just started flipping bushes. I was kind of fishing some little bluffy pockets, had a little bit of wood on them, you know, bushes, occasional lay down, whatever, and started catching them pretty good. Get in there, dude. Same fish, I'm confident. Same pitch. Ooh! That ain't a giant, but it's a good one.
Clark Winlet, the Predator. He is flat catching them.
Now, a guy that's really been on the move today, Anthony Gagliardi.
This is the season so far of Mark Rose and Bryan Thrift, but Gagliardi says, hey, wait a minute, guys. I realize you guys went first and second in Guntersville, but I got something to say about that.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. I knew he didn't have it. Picked my swim bait up actually and started throwing my swim bait, and I see a great big one. It follows my swim bait right out halfway to the boat and then just kind of sinks down and just kind of, you know, I sank to my knees. It just kind of, I had to take a deep breath and my nerves were a little bit rattled. I picked the jig up and pitched right back in where I had thrown that swim bait, and by the time it hit the bottom, it was coming out, and I set the hook, and it was her. I mean, it was that same fish, which is, it doesn't happen that often. You know, when you pull a fish out with a swim bait and you follow it up immediately with another bait, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get that bite. Sometimes you can come back later and get it, but to get it right away and immediately after on the next cast was pretty awesome.
Starting the day at number 10, Anthony Gagliardi, really looking to move up. I mean, he barely made that cut, but he stayed alive to fish that day 4.
You know, this is a guy that obviously wants to make it through to the championship because it's going to be on Murray, right? And 2014, he was the Lake Murray champion. We're going back. It's the 2017 Forest Wood Cup, going back to Lake Murray. Here's a guy in 10th place excited to make a move today.
Here on day 4, starting out, we had cloud cover and wind and chance of a possible thunderstorm, and I was kind of upset. I wanted it slick and sunny, you know, but I changed game plans. I put a buzzbait on the deck. I'm thinking, you know, it's pre-spawn, maybe I can catch some big ones on top water. Like the 6th cast, I catch a decent keeper on it, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, here we go.
Once he figures this out, that buzzbait's gonna see about 100 miles of Lake Travis today.
Yep.
And he'll turn and burn, because now we're seeing his style of fishing.
There we go. Uh-oh. They need not start biting this buzzbait. Be bad. Bad for somebody. Start biting the buzzer, it's gonna get nasty.
The FLW Tour is brought to you by celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence, Lowrance. GoPro, this is your life. Be a hero. the world leader in off-road innovation, Polaris Off-Road Vehicles. Yeti, built for the wild. And by TH Marine, from transom to trolling motor.
Yes!
Oh, man.
I'm getting some bites. I mean, I just need, I need a couple good ones.
There he is right there. That's a good one. That was pretty funny right there. I don't know if it'll help me by an ounce. Hey, 1 ounce has meant a lot to me over the years, though. He helped, that's all that matters.
Guadalupe bass, 12 inches. Got to get rid of him.
2, 3, number 1, 5. That gave me almost a pound right there.
Yes, sir.
Final day coverage at Lake Travis for the second stop on the 2017 FLW Tour, presented by Quaker State. And with our man on fire here, Mark Rose, looking to be the first angler to ever win back-to-back Tour wins.
Well, right now, if I'm Bryan Thrift or Mark Rose, I'm not really happy about the Gagliardi effect coming in, because this guy has really figured something out. I mean, he's really confident right now. He said he's committed. He had a deep spot up the river. He's not even gonna go to it. He says, I'm staying down here now. I mean, with a 6 and a 4, catching another 3, I got 2s. He goes, this is where I'm at now. It's a scary proposition for Mark Rose. If Gagliardi catches one big bite, that could vault him right over the top of Mark Rose.
That's a big one. It was over 5. I mean, probably 6. I mean, it was as big as that one I caught this morning. Man, I hope that doesn't cost me too much money. Cost me some, though. Dude, that's a freaking giant.
I need a big one, man. I got 5 pretty solid little fish. We caught a 6 up here the first day. We caught 20 pounds first day. Goofing off. I mean, every big fish I've caught in the tournament's come from here up. It'd be nice to catch 2 or 3 of them, but I mean, 1 4-pounder helped me 2 pounds. I decided to go back up the river because I knew just about every big fish I caught this week was up the river. I mean, as far as you can go, and I mean, I probably caught 8 fish over 4 pounds throughout this week, practice included, maybe more than that, in just a little half-mile section. So that's where I wanted to be to try to get a big bite. Big one, big one, big one, big one. Oh, I need you fish.
This is the fish he needs right here. This is exciting stuff because he's got a good limit, but boy, he needs this fish in the wow.
That's what I'm talking about. Dylan Hayes, our rookie boy, definitely making some moves on the leaderboard with this one.
4-pounder.
He's doing everything he needs to do. He may need a little wavering from Rose at the top because Mark still has room for 1 more fish. Our unofficial leader, only 4 fish, so he's still got room. He's leading this tournament right now, but only has 4 fish. That's a solid hook set right there.
What you want to see. And look how close, you're right, look how close to the bank this guy is.
Yeah.
That's a big move for Mark Rose right there. Bryan Thrift, watch out.
Rose is really putting together some solid fish.
Rose is taking you to the bank right now.
Look at that, the jig fell out of his mouth. Strike king, shake 'em, football head.
Oh, Thrift, if you need a big one, you need it now, my friend.
Yes.
Bryan Thrift, you have a limit of 2s and 1.5s and 2s and 2.5s, but Mark Rose has caught some good quality fish. It'll be the craziest story of the 2 Titans battling it out if Thrift manages to beat Mark Rose.
Oh, this is a good one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby.
Oh, look at that one.
That's a big one.
Time is winding down. Everyone is searching for that last-minute kicker here at Lake Travis for the FLW Tour, and Bryan Thrift needs it for a victory.
Catching that kicker kind of near the end of the day, I'm hoping that's the fish that's going to put me over the edge.
Thing look like a smallmouth.
I'd love to win this event. Mark beat me at Guntersville by 15 ounces. I'd love to return the favor this week.
2, 3. That gave me almost a pound right there.
We'll see if it's enough for Thrift, because it's time for these guys to pull the trolling motors and come back in.
No game changer at the end on this one.
I guess we're done.
I think I'm pretty much done too.
Let's go. Wow, that was a great day right there. Caught quite a few fish, and I mean, I fished as good as I could fish. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but to me, I fished a good day.
I wish I would have fished a little more efficient that last hour, but I tell you what, we've given ourselves an opportunity, and that's all you can ever ask for on Sunday. Now, they will have had to, you know, caught a decent bag and had a good day to beat me, and that's when you shake their hand and you say, man, great job, and you go on to the next one.
What's up, Texas? Are you guys ready to get this thing started? Woo! Anthony Gagliardi, 16 pounds and 9 ounces.
I just abandoned all the deep stuff that I'd been doing, and based on what I saw yesterday afternoon on the place that I pulled in, I figured I might could catch a couple good ones this morning.
11 pounds and 12 ounces, moves you to second.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Wow! Clark Reed catches a kicker on day 4. 13 pounds even, has you in first place. A 5-bass limit. 11 pounds even, keeps you in 3rd place.
You know, it's my home lake. I've fished here my whole life. One thing about this lake is the guys that are catching big ones, they're not just catching big ones. They're catching tons of fish. They're throwing them back all day long. It's a great place to get bites.
He was the FLW Tour #1 champion at Lake Guntersville, Alabama. Welcome, Mark Rose.
Number 3, number 4. Do you have number 5? Is it a kicker?
Well, they say in Texas everything's a little bigger, so I got to catch one bigger than those.
A 5-bass limit for Mark Rose. 5 today for Mark Roseworth. 14 pounds and 9 ounces. He takes the lead with 1 guy left.
From Shelby, North Carolina, welcome Bryan "Smoke" Thrift.
This crowning moment, it will be epic. We just did this 2 weeks ago in Guntersville, Alabama, and Mark edged out Bryan Thrift. We'll see if revenge happens next. Here we go again. Do you feel like we just did this, man?
Yeah, it's vaguely familiar.
Let's see number 5, the kicker. Wow! Looking for 13.9. 5 today for Bryan Thrift worth 12 pounds, 13 ounces. Your champion is Mark Rose. Back-to-back wins for the first time in Tour history.
I can't believe this, Chris. I'm just absolutely blown away. Bryan's been doing this a long time, right along the way, and he is the best fisherman, I think, on this planet. I really do. And to come out ahead of him like this, I'm just blown away. I'm so speechless. I'm thankful.
Back-to-back wins at the highest level of this sport.
Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. About 10 years ago or 9 years ago, something like that, I made a conscious effort that I was going to fish as hard as I could every day, and I'm just getting the reward right now. But hey, this don't happen like this very often. We know that there's bad tournaments around the corner, and there's some mid-range tournaments around the corner. Right now, all I can say is thank God.
The first back-to-back champion in FLW Tour history. He's won $250,000 in 3 weeks. Let's hear it one more time for your champion, Mark Rose.
A historic win. And once again, Thrift comes up short, but all our anglers in the top 10 having a great event.
Exactly right, and this Texas lake is only going to get better, Travis.
Thanks for watching our coverage of the 2017 FLW Tour. See you next time.